Trump is about to make us all very, very rich in crypto. And I have to say, I am proud to be an American today. I did not vote. I'm out here in Bali, but Trump is literally about to win the election. As we can see here, he's got 246 electoral votes versus 187 of Kamala. Clear lead on Wisconsin, clear lead on Michigan, clear lead on PA, AZ, and Nevada. I think it's in the bag. And if we look at what's going on in crypto, there is so many hot trading setups right now. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is all the best setups to be getting into right now. That is going to be a huge opportunity to really load up and make bank. Let's take a look. Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to offer you access to my exclusive Wolfpack Discord group that's now based on WAP. Basically what you're gonna get in here is something I call the Quantum Cipher Report. This allows you to steal and copy all of my trades and learn my exact trading system. Every Monday, I'm gonna give you the best crypto altcoin picks that are getting ready for explosive moves. I'm also gonna give you the best trade setups in forex, futures, and CFDs as well. You have to be a multi-asset trader if you truly want to take advantage of the entire trading environment as a whole. Not only that, you're going to get access to the Discord, all of my courses, over 30 hours of recorded educational content, in addition to my TradingView degenerate indicators. Okay, so if you want access to my WAP, there's going to be a link below. Join the Wolfpack and get all of the best trading picks in crypto, forex, and futures sent to you every Monday. On top of that, 30 hours of educational content so you can learn my entire system, all for one low monthly price. I'll see you there. All right, guys, let's just take a look first and foremost at Bitcoin, the daily chart here. This is just, you can't get much more of a beautiful breakout than this. Clearly, we had a lot of resistance as we just continually battled this zone here in the low 70s, and now we are getting this monumental, big, whopping spike candle to break out to all-time highs. This is all-time highs on Bitcoin. So overall, this is a hugely bullish breakout, perfect kryptonite breakout pattern that we're looking at here. And it's clear that people are buying into the fact that Donald Trump is literally about to win the entire thing and take this election. He's obviously very bullish on crypto right now. He's basically saying we're going to bring all the mining and everything into the US and stop pushing away from crypto and start embracing it, which will probably lead to a lot of reform in the SEC, especially if Elon comes in with the government efficiency program and probably wipes out the majority of the SEC staff and really makes things efficient. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens if Trump does in fact win. It's not 100%, but it's looking that way. And with Elon Musk coming in to clean shop, just like he did in Twitter, I think that's going to open up a lot of opportunity for crypto in the USA. Another fun fact, before we get into the actual altcoins that are looking smoking hot, is Donald Trump has proposed that he will remove taxes for US residents abroad, which is huge because that also includes me. So if I could potentially be tax-free, as well as you, if you're a trader and you want to be able to travel abroad and live outside of the USA, up until now, USA residents have always had to pay taxes. I pay taxes in the US every year, even though I haven't lived in the US since 2016. Okay, but if you look at anybody in Europe, Australia, what they do is renounce their residence of their home country and get residence in a tax-free zone, such as Turkey or such as Dubai, which is tax-free, and they get residency in Dubai and pay zero taxes while still maintaining their citizenship. USA was never allowing that up until now. Trump is potentially proposing that. So this is absolutely huge for traders from the US who want to live abroad and potentially be tax-free. But with that said, that's just some awesome news that I'm super excited about. Let's get into the actual coins that I'm currently long right now and the coins that I'm potentially going to be getting into if we get the dip buying opportunity. Now, I will say I got wiped out on about a third of my crypto positions on this fucking dip right here on when others just completely got wiped out. Now, for me, I wanted to see this trend continue to hold on the others, And while most of my positions did not get stopped out, there were a few that just got absolutely clobbered. Liquidations, we've seen such high volatility in crypto. And so some of my altcoins that I was in dropped 30 to 40% very rapidly and did trigger my stop on some of those. But I still have a lot of positions open and I still can make a shitload of money if we get the rebound here and we start breaking out to the upside. So if we look at the others chart now, we did break down briefly below the actual trend there. But if we look at the weekly chart, it was actually just testing weekly demand. So overall, the market structure is still very bullish here. It came down, tapped into weekly demand, and now spiking up. Just that unfortunate, real quick dip to the downside. A lot of the lower cap altcoins that I was involved in had these massive liquidation spikes to the downside. Obviously, I had larger positions, so I'm going to get stop hunted more regularly than someone who's got a $5,000 position versus me who had like six-figure positions on some of these altcoins and got fucking wiped out at the bottom. But that doesn't matter because I have a lot of other positions that are open and still looking good. And we actually added some positions just last night prior to Trump potentially winning. He's still not won yet, 246. But if we look at the quantum cipher report that's going on right now, a few ones that we just got in that we are looking to buy on the dip. One was Ape, okay? Ape was a huge spike to the upside, and we we're going to buy this if it came down into about 92 cents. And we did finally get that actual dip buy opportunity on Ape. Came all the way down into our buy zone, and now this is ramping up into much better looking territories for a nice bounce. But this was an awesome trade opportunity for people inside of the Wolfpack to get in on that dip. I do think Ape definitely has potential to come up and retest this recent spike high at about 156 to 170. So I'm very bullish on Ape, especially if Trump wins and we continue moving forward from here. The next one that I want to talk about is IMX. We bought in right here as this was dipping into weekly demand. IMX just got absolutely clobbered 50%. After that first initial run up. We just bought into the dip. And if we look at IMX now, I do love this chart. It's I love the actual product. It has a lot of utility. They got a lot of partnerships and things going on. And if we look at IMX now, it is just thrusting right out of that weekly demand zone. So we have the perfect entry here on IMX for those of you who were in the Wolfpack and looking at the quantum cipher report. I definitely think this could come all the way back up into this weekly supply zone just above $2 to 260. That's, 124% gain from this point on. So I definitely think we have that much upside potential here on IMX. Next one we're going to look at is 1,000 CAT. Now this thing did dip all the way down, coming all the way down in here. I'm still long on CAT right now. It did get a lot of volatility, but it came all the way back down into this demand zone. I actually added small into this position. So this is looking really good right now. There's a lot of support in this range right now. If this forms up and does one of these and comes all the way back up here, guys, boom, 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 and then forms a kryptonite breakout pattern, this is going to be a monumental move to the upside. Now, this is going to be awesome. If this breaks out all-time highs, this thing could go, I don't know how fucking high, but it could definitely go high. Let's see where we're at here from our entry price at about right now. We're looking at 150 to 200% upside if this chart pattern does actually play out and breaks out above about 0.44. So this is a perfect buying opportunity down here at weekly demand for CAT USD, Simon's CAT. Just one second there, guys. You're probably wondering, where can you trade all these altcoins? There's this new broker called Blofin, and it's actually a little bit mind-blowing because not only do they have all the best altcoins to trade that you would see on your major exchanges, they also have a huge list of coins that aren't at the major exchanges. And it's sometimes those little nitty-gritty degenerate coins that have the biggest ROI and the biggest returns. Okay, so this is actually the platform. You can go into futures or trading spot. I trade both futures and spot, but it's actually a really, really sleek platform with a shitload of actual coins to trade on here to choose from. Okay, and that's one of the biggest hurdles that a lot of people face is they don't have the coins that they want to trade. Blofin has one of the widest array of altcoins to trade in both spot and futures. Another major thing about it is that there's no KYC registration required to actually trade, deposit, and withdraw on your account. That is one of the biggest hurdles for most traders out there. And so that is where Blofin kind of stands out above the rest. Not only does it have a huge variety of coins, there's also no KYC required. So use my link below to get access to Blofin. I promise you it's going to be a really good experience. And I do really like the platform, especially since there's so many variety of altcoins to trade. What are we trying to do? We're trying to find all the best opportunities. Check out Blofin below. Next one is AIOZ. This came all the way down into this zone and it almost stopped me out of here as well, because you can see there was a lot of these revival pattern breakouts that were forming up, but a lot of revivals actually got clobbered and destroyed, and they now just turned into these horizontal range-bound charts rather than a revival pattern. A revival pattern is something you want to see where there's an ascending trend. A revival pattern is something when you want to see a lead-in trend like this, and then an ascending trend followed by a flat top breakout. Now, that was what we had across the board in a lot of altcoins. Everything was looking super bullish, but obviously there was a bunch of FUD about Kamala potentially coming back to win, which absolutely destroyed a lot of these altcoins outside of the actual revivals. And then they retested like very low weekly demand all the way down here. So now it's kind of like we have to reset and see if a new sort of revival pattern forms up on a lot of these charts. But AIOZ was kind of one of them. It did look like it was having the actual revival pattern breakout coming up here. Now that pattern actually broke briefly and then came into weekly demand, of which we then long this position. And now this is looking not nearly as good as it did before that actual breakdown, because that shakeout right there did break a lot of the charts. A lot of these charts were in these perfect revival patterns, and now they're kind of sloppy revival patterns. The good thing is that Bitcoin is breaking out all-time highs. Trump's looking like he's potentially going to win. And I do think we have a new bullish trend that could come into fruition, which will allow these charts to kind of reform themselves and hopefully get back into some nice revival patterns. But there is that disappointment that a lot of the revival patterns that were just looking good last week did break down on that shakeout, and now we kind of got to reset ourselves. Next up is Beam. This is probably my favorite pattern and favorite project that we're looking at right now. This is a crypto gaming project. Initially, we were looking for a weekly demand dip buy all the way down here to about 0.13. Price did come all the way down on Beam. We bought in and then we went all the way up, looking like we were potentially going to break out of the revival. Unfortunately, that was not the breakout. And then this came all the way back down deeper below my buy price. So things were looking a little bit scary here, because the actual revival pattern and trend was breaking briefly there for a moment, but all it was doing actually was retesting weekly demand. I actually added a little bit more to this position. So we now got to redraw this pattern. That's one thing I don't like doing. When I have to start redrawing my trend lines, that's where I'm like, okay, am I trying to make something out of nothing here, or is this actually going to work? But typically when you have to start redrawing trend lines, you know, you're kind of pushing your boundaries and kind of stretching the limit a little bit too much. But overall, this is still in a pre-breakout revival pattern, a push above 0.02. This is definitely going to run probably up to 0.003 and potentially even retest ATH at about 0.044. So I have a pretty hefty position. This is my biggest position for sure on Beam. So I'm very bullish on this pattern. Looks absolutely great. Perfect looking revival pattern after retesting weekly demand. I think we're going much higher from here. Next up is Mu. This is what we were looking like when we first got in, looking for that dip buy. We got in, this thing absolutely shredded, and it's just been sinking ever since then, coming all the way up here, all the way back down, putting me into a negative position. Thankfully, we did not break down below here. Now we're bouncing to the upside. I definitely think there's still a lot more upside potential on Mu. We are getting ready to potentially break all-time high again, and also breaking out of this potential now bullish breakout of that actual bullish flag here. So I definitely think there's more upside potential, and new all-time highs is coming shortly on MEW. Ondo. Next up is Ondo, guys. Again, this was coming all the way down into weekly demand. It's been a long time coming since then. Ondo has not been performing the way I wanted it to perform. As we can see, it did come into weekly demand. I bought in, came up, and then dipped even farther back into weekly demand. So right now, you know, it's just this range bound sideways price action. Previously, it was looking beautiful, like this revival pattern was forming up here. And at this point, you know, that is a beautiful looking revival pattern. If we look at it right here, it's like, okay, that's a beautiful revival pattern. Unfortunately, everything fucking ate shit, and a lot of these revival patterns just absolutely got destroyed, and now we're kind of resetting ourselves. That's just the game of altcoins. There is so much volatility in these. When they look like they're good, moments later, they're absolutely looking like shit, and there's a lot of leverage being traded on here, and a lot of people easily get stomped out, including myself. I got stomped out on a bunch of positions, such as Zeta. I was long here. This broke down. I got stomped out. YGG, I got stomped out on that massive fucking dip right there. Also, PolyX and NTRN, all of them broke down, potentially almost getting to new lows here. Now, those aren't revival patterns anymore. So They could come back up. If we look at Zeta, I definitely like this. This could potentially be something that I actually get back in here, ZETA. This is definitely now looking like a nice revival pattern breakout. I might buy back into Zeta soon, but as of right now, there is no position. So there's two other charts that I want to talk about. One is a brand new coin that we just bought into today. Another one is the one that we're going to be getting into on the dip if we do get that opportunity. The one that we got into today was 1 million MOG. This is a perfect looking kryptonite breakout pattern as we got in right here at about 192 or so. After that, it's continued to rip. As you can see here, it's up another 10.5% today. If this breaks out above ATH, this is what we call a kryptonite breakout pattern. It's basically just an all-time high runner. There's no telling how high this thing can actually soar. So I definitely think there's at least a 50 to 100% gainer out of this, especially since we're in fairly early. Pre-breakout, the actual breakout trigger is going to be around 0.000002355 to 245. So we're in pre-breakout. We still have a great entry on this pattern. The next one I want to talk about is Super, which I'm super bullish on. Unfortunately, I did not get my dip buy opportunity when this dipped into demand, but now I will be looking for a dip buy opportunity. It's also potentially forming up a beautiful looking kryptonite pattern. It'll probably come back up, retest the ATH around 150 to 160, maybe consolidate and give us some sort of dip buying opportunity before it finally breaks out above the 150 zone. From there, I think this can probably go to $2.50 to $3 per coin. You can see here, this is kind of the revival patterns that we want to actually be trading, which this one actually did. We have a lead-in trend bearish followed by flat top breakup pattern. As soon as that breaks out, this thing ramped up and then retested all-time highs. So this is the exact pattern that we're looking at right now on charts like Beam that we can see here, right? Revival breakup pattern. Once that breaks out, pretty much the next level that we're looking at is retesting ATH, but first initial profit target is going to be around 0.03 cents. From there, we're hoping to see this upwards of 0.042 and maybe even break out all-time highs for a just all-time high absolute face melting runner here. But anyways, guys, those are the coins that I'm looking at. Let's see if Trump has actually won yet. Hit the refresh button. Still has not won yet, but he's leading in the swing states. So it's almost a guarantee that this is going to happen. But anyways, guys, Trump, let's fucking go. I'll tell you what. When I left the USA in 2016, Trump was getting elected president. I thought it was absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I never thought in a million years that I would ever kind of identify myself as right-wing Republican, because I was full-on Democrat when I left the USA. Because the USA was pretty good back then. But it has absolutely gone to shit ever since then. I don't know what kind of weird woke stuff is going on over there. And unfortunately, you know, Democrats, I don't know what's going on. But I'm happy to see Trump win in, and we'll see where we can take this. Anyways, guys, I think we have a lot of upside in crypto to come. Let's go Trump, and let's